So we dropped the first pack yesterday in the BoDoggo's ecosystem at the Nifty.com. For people that don't have context, we have an NFT project. It's called BoDoggo's. It's built on the Solana blockchain, and we have an NFT platform, like a platform that unifies our NFT ecosystem called the Nifty.com. We've been using the Nifty.com. Its first feature that it ever rolled out was the free NFTs, which I'm sure a lot of the people that listen to this show understand what the free NFTs are, right? You go to the nifty.com/claim, you put in a code. I think a lot of people were wondering, like, what's the next step for the platform? What is all this for? And we dropped our very first, new feature that kind of is as significant as the free NFTs yesterday, which is the packs on the website at the Woof trading posts, if you will. Nick, what do you make of yesterday? Like, what are your takeaways 24 hours later?
Well, I'm trying to fix something so that people can who won the NFTs actually can claim. One of the people won a Claynosaur and they got it successfully. But we're debugging some things. Other than that, pretty good. People seem to enjoy it, and we got a bunch.
It was electric. It was electric. 100+ people in the voice chat. Guapo was live DJing. He had a green screen behind him with wild visuals before it. Yes, we had a minor delay on when it rolled out, but the sentiment was electric. People were so excited to just immediately share.
We had a 1 hour. Only because I
delay.
wanted to send an email. We didn't have to delay it 1 hour, but people are like, "Oh, this is worse than D-Gods." I'm
No
like,
one said that, right? No one actually said that.
No, there was
like
in the chat. There was. They're like,
saw
oh,
a comment.
Nifty pulling a page out of Frank's book.
It was an hour.
It was an hour. I get it. People were excited for it. Granted, everyone stuck around, had fun. It was a blast.
It did crash the site successfully, which was good. But I kind of knew that was going to happen. There's some upgrades I want to make that enable just kind of unlimited inbound requests. But
well, Nick, the worst part was you and me were sitting on a call like, all right, we're ready to see what happens here. And Heroku's APIs for us to monitor the site completely went offline. So we had no visibility. We were riding blind. It's like we're flying an airplane through a snowstorm. Like, it was like, oh, this is delightful.
Yeah, well, it basically crashed and I couldn't do anything. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm excited about some of the other features that we're dropping. I'm taking like a 2-day. Well, this morning, I'm fixing the issue with the people claiming their NFTs because obviously they want to be able to claim. A lot of people claimed multiple times, and we ended up making an extra couple bucks as a result of that. So thank you to those people who endured
like literally
the bug.
like $2.
I think each time, yeah, it costs. I don't know how much it costs. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, the
cost, by the way, is about 20, not even 20 cents.
So 20 cents.
I think it might be 2. I'll double check.
So 20 cents people were spending, and some people did it repeatedly, giving us upwards of $1 in some instances, which is pretty insane for trying to claim a 10,000. No, how much is a Claynosaur?
10,000, but a Claynosaur is like
$400,000 NFT. You know, that's what people.
Like $500 for the Clayno, right around there, because we did the Call of Saga one. That somebody won, and then dude, the Mad Lad response was the best one I've ever seen, ever in my entire life. The guy was like, "I've been rugged 75 times. I got this Mad Lad, and it wipes all of it." So the sentiment was great. He was so happy. It was awesome.
Well, the funny thing is that guy, what's his name? Is it Starve? I would know his name if he had a BoDoggo's PFP, but he doesn't.
I also think there's some redeemables remaining in the whale packs. I don't know. Do we?
There's 96 left.
No. Those are total. Those aren't redeemables though.
Right.
Those are 96 remaining. I can tell you actually. I can run a query real quick and get you the exact number.
There are a handful of things that I haven't seen pop out of the packs yet. So definitely.
But, oh, sorry. This is the thing that I was just gonna say. This gentleman, what's his name? Starve. Yeah. So he needs to change his his profile picture to a BoDoggo ASAP. That's number one. But number two, he went in the, like, if you look at what he responded to me with right there, there's a screenshot, Clemente, right there. Earlier in the Discord, he said, is it too late to get 10 dogs? So I guess he had enough bones to buy packs, but he wasn't a whale yet. And I said, never too late. This is the day one rollout of a new mechanic. This mechanic will be developed and new mechanics will be developed. Basically saying, like, this is not a one-time thing, right? It's not like
there's
two. What? Oh, two more redeemables.
And they are.
Whoa. Let them have fun seeing what they get, okay? All right, my God, I thought we fixed the leaky faucet over here. I've called maintenance 6 times.
And
can we dynamically change that stuff?
Yes.
What do you mean?
Okay,
change
so if we,
what?
Like, if we wanted to, could we juice, more redeemables into this set?
Yes. Oh no, we'd have to create a new pack. Right now, once packs are generated, because it does randomly generate them. You
ship them to retail, man. Once you ship them to retail, you ship
They're on
them.
the shelf.
Like they're on the shelf, dude. You can't do you could do a recall. You could issue a new pack, but that's what you would have to do. You'd have to recall the pack, and but then what you would have to do is allow other people, at least if I'm thinking of a traditional retail situation, you would want to allow people that made a purchase to also return, because then it was sort of like a faulty pack. And that wouldn't be fair for them. So no, we would never do that, Pio. That's an awful idea. How dare you come up with that?
I was just asking. But yeah, I mean, like, what when you think about, what comes next, what comes to your mind, Nick?
Are you just trying to set me up to leak the next
future?
Features?
All right, Pio, the future. Okay, that's what you're getting out of Nick. It's just the future. We're not going into semantic specifics.
So.
Someone
okay, well, we can say one thing, which is what the next feature is, but easy. I called you buddy. In terms of
all right, pal.
So in terms of the next feature, the main thing is that the free NFTs that exist, there's been no utility to that. So I think that's like the focus of what comes next. Is providing more utility to those that have been collecting free NFTs that are like, what do I get out of doing this? What do I get? All I get is this art that you guys work tirelessly over. That's all that I get for free. What else do I get? Do I get anything else? Yeah. Well, we're still working. Don't worry, we're not going to make money on it. We're just like, all we're here
God forbid.
All we're here to do is to spend money and spend time and make you happy, because that's the sustainable business model. People really like that. So don't worry if in 18 months we're completely fucking broke and like the business doesn't exist, because you all love a business model where we just give you everything and get nothing in return. Okay, that's fine. Oh, you bought a product for $80 and suddenly we're going to hire a whole vast team of people to go build things for you, and you're not going to give us a damn thing after that. But what do I get?
Nick, you just set this up now, and this is the worst part about what you just did. The first response to this is going to be this clip saying, no, you told us this is what you were doing. You told us this is what we get, and now you're not giving it to us.
I haven't gotten shit, dude. I haven't gotten anything for any of the NFTs outside of my apes. My apes made me a fortune. Okay, like
they gave you more NFTs that you could sell, and we're not going to dilute the supply of BoDoggo, so we're not going to give people more NFTs. I mean, look, I did not know Nick was going to be this funny to start the show. And I mean, everything Nick said is true. I just think it's absolutely hilarious.
Buy a BoDoggo and then send me a DM about how I'm not doing shit, okay? Go buy a BoDoggo and then sell it for less than you bought it, because you're so furious because you thought there was some insane thing that was coming. And so what we'll do is we'll keep spending all that money to make you happy, to shove that money down your damn mouth, just so that you're just overwhelmed with free things. And you're still not going to say thank you. You're going to say, I deserve this. Okay, ungrateful pieces of crap.
Anyway, yeah.
Today's sponsor.
No. Look, Nick. Well, there's actually there's relevant pop culture stuff that I don't think we're even going to get to. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Nick.
I mean, I saw a little beef between Jake Paul and Logan Paul.
We're not talking about that. Well, we will talk about that like separately or something maybe, but that wasn't what I was talking about. I was going to talk about Portnoy buying Barstool back from Penn Gaming, which is, yeah, it's pretty juicy. All right, fine. We're just going to do it. Kaleo, we're excited to have you on today. Maybe go make a coffee or something. And also, Kaleo went and DM'd me about joining a Google Meet. Kaleo, was this going to be the crazy docs day that you've been talking about for a year and a half, literally as long as I've known you?
Nah, man, today was not going to be the day. Like, you can join a Google Meet with camera off. So I was just following what Clemente sent me, and I was in there. I swear, I was in there 10 minutes early. I like to be prepared, even if I'm not going to speak for a minute. And then I was on my PC because I thought you could join spaces from a PC and use your mic doing that now. But it didn't show that the space started. So after 5 minutes, I was like, man, I better check the phone and go to PO's profile. So wasn't going to happen today. Apologize for being late. I swear that I was on top of things. Technical errors just killed me.
No, first of all, you're early. You're all over it. And we always appreciate how professional you are with this stuff. We do hope that there will be that monumental Kaleo docs in the future. We will rock with you nonstop for the rest of the show in just a few minutes. I just got to get through one sponsor read and we'll discuss this Portnoy stuff real quick. But basically, Nick, this is what happened. Portnoy owns
it. Yeah,
100% of Barstool for the first time in literally 10 years.
Well, I don't care about his timeline. I'm more curious about the logistics of this deal.
I can break this down for you because I did follow up on this, and I'm a huge Barstool guy, of course, from Boston. We love it up there.
Both of you clearly, Boston
Not me.
People here.
I think that when he was like, Mincy's back, and everyone on Twitter was like, yeah, Mincy, and I see this guy on the video, and I'm like, this is like the epic guy that you guys are so amped to have back. He's like an average Joe from the South. But anyway, go ahead.
The deal was Portnoy bought all the shares back from Penn Gaming and he did an emergency press conference last night, talked about it, said he has nothing but good things to say about Penn. All positives, etc. It's not surprising that they gave him this opportunity because ESPN is launching a gambling platform called ESPN Bet. Not a conflict of interest or anything, but they did do that.
Wait, sorry. So there's two separate parts to this. One, I'm curious about how much did he buy it back for? Because Business Insider says pennies.
He paid cost. Exactly what they gave him was the thing. But so it was basically a break-even deal to get the full thing back. But if he ever sells it, then he has to give Penn 50% of the sales.
Of the proceeds from the sale.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
he's saying he's going to take it to the grave. He's saying he's never going to sell it again.
But he bought it back at the amount that they purchased it from him for?
Yes.
I believe so.
In the process, Penn locked in an ESPN deal. And that's a huge deal. It's like a win-win because the Barstool acquisition is really what ultimately led to Penn locking in the ESPN deal, which is a massive deal for them. And they don't want to have Barstool anymore because they kept being concerned over Barstool's content because it's Barstool's content. And now Portnoy doesn't have someone looking over his shoulder anymore. Clemente, you were going to add?
Yeah, so from my understanding, he didn't buy it back because Penn basically acquired this for $500 million, and they basically just gave it back to Portnoy. I don't think he paid anything for it. They just gave it back.
DMs now too. It was he did pay something, but it was much less than $500 million.
It says next to nothing. Yeah, $500 million sounds
the stipulations. Ludicrous. I guess the stipulations are the bigger thing. He can't create a sports book, and if he ever sells these shares, he has to give 50% of the proceeds to Penn.
the big theme here, Nick, is basically the Barstool kept getting into problems with the gambling aspect of it because they were doing content, because they were doing these things that weren't by the book. They were getting in trouble, and Penn wasn't liking it. And basically now Portnoy just gets to go back to doing strictly content with Barstool. Penn locked up a fat deal with
Worse
ESPN.
Better business. Okay.
They locked up a fat deal with ESPN, and I think Penn Gaming stock, I believe, went up like 25% after hours following the news.
If Dave Portnoy got to keep $50 to $100 million in his bank account and then go run a media business, then I can understand that aspect of things, because now it's cheap and he doesn't need to make money. Like there's no inherent like issues associated with it. He could potentially raise some funding, but but he's saying he's going to take it to the grave. I guess the sponsors on there, or the products that they're selling, the merch, maybe covering the costs somehow.
They make they're very successful when it comes to merch, like uber successful.
So I don't know what the revenue breakdown is, but if they're able to fund 100% of operations with merchandise sales, then I guess that's pretty good. And Dave gets to focus on the things that he enjoys. The revenue side, though, was like this like multi-billion-dollar thing. But I guess Dave in his mind is just like, well, I'm fucking rich. But like he's also a gambler, and like someone who like, and he loves like posting about like gambling related things where he just goes and makes $150,000 bet on something. That's generally not like a sustainable thing usually, because like you're losing some of those bets. Like you're not winning all of those. So I don't know how this is going to like, I would be curious about more of the logistics around it. But I mean, it sounds like he got a deal here. He gets to focus on his content. There's no conflict because he can't get sued for like, I think the biggest issue is like, there's a reason Caesars doesn't have like a media company.
Well, just to give you a little bit of context, 2022 revenue was $23 million for Barstool Sports. So not bad.
What percentage of that came from deals with the sportsbook side of things?
That's a good question. I don't know, because I think there's separate numbers that pertain to Penn. So that's just pure play Barstool Sports. But you're right. There might be some sort of there might be a breakdown of revenue that came from Penn.
And that was last year. What year?
2022, last year.
I mean, $23 million in revenue is pretty freaking good for a content company. If he's figured out the approach, I mean, clearly the approach they had was effective, and they've been in it for a long period of time, and it's a space that he is particular. Like this is his zone of expertise.
Yes.
So it does make sense. I also just got the feeling that he was kind of just chilling also, because he's like, he got a deal where he just shows up to certain podcasts. Is the CEO staying on? What's her name?
That I don't know.
Yes. Staying on.
All right. Well, it sounds like maybe they got a nice little business here. Congrats to them.
I would definitely say that Barstool Sports has a quote unquote nice little business. I would expect it to continue.
I think
to be
they'll
a
do
nice
okay the
little
next few
business.
years. Yeah, personally, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. They're kind of the standard for what they do. So look, ladies and gentlemen, today we are joined by Crypto Kaleo, friend of the show. I think it's his fourth time on the show. This is going to be electric. I think it's been too long since we had him on last time. We're going to discuss the state of affairs in crypto and NFTs from a price action perspective. We'll slip in a little bit of macro talk, and we'll make some predictions for the rest of 2023 and beyond. Nick?
It's crazy they got this deal with ESPN, that Penn got this deal. I mean, that's like a pretty phenomenal situation where the largest sports media company brand is associated with this. Penn sounds like they're just doing smart deals here. This is going to make them a pretty penny on this. The fact that they're going to be integrated into coverage of ESPN. Sports is now just a betting business. Like that's
it always was.
Always has been, baby. Just before it used to be settlements in cash and broken kneecaps, and now it's all done above board.
the development of the martial art Muay Thai, which is the most favorable martial art, the history of it is just gambling. It's just that people in Thailand wanted like something to gamble on, and it was the best thing. And they're placing bets during the fight, in between rounds. It's just a gambling thing. Sports is, I mean, it makes sense. When I was getting a haircut at like the barbershop over here, it's, you know, Dominican barbershop, they had cockfighting on televised on the TV, literally televised. And everybody was like looking at it. And I'm assuming, I don't speak Spanish yet. I'm doing better. Clemente knows that every once in a while when Clemente's translating with some of our employees that are not English speaking, I don't need Clemente to do a double translation. I understand what the employee said, and then I just respond in English. But anyway, yeah, I mean, like dudes are out here in New York gambling on cockfighting on TV right now. So yeah,
Well, I love that. It reminds me of in elementary school, there was a kid, a friend of mine used to sell tickets to fights that would set up on the playground, basically. Basically, he'd go to people.
Wait. Look
at that.
Wait. So they would a publicly open playground, wide open field, and he would
Instigate a
sell
fight.
tickets.
Instigate a fight, and then turn around and go sell tickets to kids.
This kid's got to be a millionaire now, because that's a hustle. That's a grind.
He had a
Or they're
business
in
that
jail.
did grow to millions before. Yeah, he ended up shooting the business in the foot, and ended up posting dick pics of someone else basically online. So he got into some situation. So he captured both those things. Now he's just traveling the world. It's not clear, somehow making money. But the fight thing, I don't think that was a long stint of the elementary school fighting ticket sales. But I think to Pio's point, it does show, you know, really that's what the fights are about, you know, and that's what boxing and everything else is about. It's like setting up. I mean, fighting sports definitely is about gambling. Like that makes sense.
But real sports too. I mean, like, or like mainstream, you know, basketball and stuff. Like, I mean, look, Pete Rose got kicked out of baseball for gambling. It's well known that Michael Jordan is a huge, huge gambler and maybe was gambling while he was a player, undoubtedly betting on himself. You know, his ass wasn't taking a dive, but undoubtedly just betting on himself.
The NFL has had 4 different players over the last 2 years be suspended for the entire season, 2 of which bet on their own team to lose. And there's like an entire montage of this safety just missing easy picks, letting dudes burn him on routes. And it came out that he was just betting big to lose games.
Yeah, the last one, and Kaleo's off stage now, so I don't know if he just said, you know, actually, I think I'm going to skip the show today. No, but we got to get Kaleo back. We might have to patch him in via Google Meet.
Don't worry, I can give you what he's going to say anyways.
It might go up or it might go down. Here he is.
No, Bitcoin's looking bullish right now. His target probably around somewhere in the, I would say 38, 40K range right now.
Well, hold on. We're going to get into that. Just one last thing. There's one guy in MMA right now. He's a coach. His name is James Krause. First, he got banned from the sport because they found out he was gambling. Then they took it a step further because it was so extreme that they said no one can fight out of this guy's gym. If it's found out that you're training at this guy's gym, you're done. And then just recently, the guy did an interview where he said he makes more money from gambling than being an MMA coach. And everyone's like, dude, stop snitching on yourself. Oh my God, this guy's going on TV and boasting, basically doing a Pete Rose publicly in 2023. Almost like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. I'm making so much money gambling. It's like, dude, you're like banned from the sport at a professional level to the point where now guys can't even train with you, which like, here we go. This guy is just the gambling guy, worked with offshore sportsbook. This guy might go to jail. I mean, that's like, that starts getting in
to bet on himself.
No, to bet on guys he was training. So that people were suspecting that he had a guy take a dive. Dude, the taking a dive thing is an old thing. It's in Pulp Fiction. Bruce Willis's character was supposed to take a dive, but he ends up knocking the guy out. So the mobster's after him. This is an old story, man. there's all sorts of stories like this. There was some basketball player that was taking dives or something, or like fixing, the point shaving and the Tim Donaghy in the NBA. The gambling thing's deeply integrated with sports and has been for a long time. So anyway, look, we're talking macro, we're talking price action, we're talking about predictions for the rest of 2023 and beyond for crypto. Kaleo.
And the future of Jake Paul, Logan Paul fights. They should fight each other is what should happen. That's basically the fight that we're waiting to see happen, is them just to beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, except they can't because they're both trash. Anyway, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, Kaleo, we're thrilled to have him on the show. We're going to go to him in just a sec. One of the more recognizable crypto Twitter personalities. The guy's a perma bull. When things are bullish, he's basically, for all you Twitter people out there, he's basically one of the best follows you can get. It's so much fun when numbers are going up to follow Kaleo, but there's also really, really good insight provided on things like Tesla stock, Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and other crypto assets. Every once in a while, some NFT stuff. He was calling for Pudgy Penguin's breakout after a year-long consolidation, among others. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, today's show is sponsored by Bicycle Playing Cards. You've heard us be sponsored by them before. We did a free NFT with them before. It's the iconic 138-year-old brand. They're back again, and this time the release is a highly anticipated Bored Ape Yacht Club community playing card deck. So each deck features a Bored Ape on the front with a host of other apes from the community mixed in to the original artwork. So no two decks are the same. If you're a Bored Ape holder, a Web3 collector, or you just love playing cards, specifically Bicycle brand playing cards, the most iconic brand, then these are a must-have for your display case. This is for you collectibles people out there. So pre-order your deck at bicyclecards.com/silverbanana. I'm sure Clemente will have everything pinned to the Twitter space. And get in while supplies last. The launch trailer is being played on the YouTube show right now, the live stream. It's very dope. And we're also going to be giving away 3 decks during the show. So check out the pinned tweet to see how you can win. We're pumped to have Bicycle, sponsoring the show again. We're also just pumped to be partnering with a brand like this, and that a brand like this is actually in Web3 collabing with Bored Ape Yacht Club. It's cool stuff. So yeah, we were going to do the weather report. I think we're actually going to skip it today. But what we can do, or actually here, I'll just run the weather report right now myself. First time I've ever done this before. Or Signal's actually, Sig, are you here?
I am here.
Let's go. Signal got a little weather report for us.
Yeah, coming for you live Wednesday, 9th of August, guys. Total market volume coming in around 11.3 million. Blur at 7.3, OpenSea at 2.7. Onto leaders, not much change in the numbers there. Ape still below 30. D-Gods significant at 8.8, while everything else is pretty stable. Over the past 24 hours, well, we spoke about this 3 weeks ago, and now it's official. Pixel Vault has acquired Wolf Game, and it will be one of the featured titles launching on Reboot. The team has shared that the POW, Planet DAOs, and Punks will be replaced by the GG token. Over on Pudgy Penguins, while their left-facing collectible, it was a limited edition, it's sold out immediately. It comes along with an ERC 721 token, and that sale was $250 each, also $249 each, and it sold out in 8 seconds. That must be one of their fastest sales in history. Onto MetaKey, a throwback name to 2021. That is a gaming project. They have announced they're going to have a major rebrand. They're going to be building Fortnite and Roblox games to onboard Web 2 people into the products and ventures of Web 3. And they're also going to have a small NFT sale coming up that is going to be cheaply priced at $12 each. And anything that doesn't sell will just end up being burnt. And then lastly, today, obviously, the long anticipated D-God Season 3. D-Gods have been chopping between around 8.8 to 9.1 each floor, while Utes have sold off around 8% on the 24-hour down to 1.7 ETH. A lot of anticipation and hype around this, not just for the collection, but just generally across the space. D-Gods obviously thought of as one of the leading PFPs. And then on to crypto. Well, I'm not going to talk about crypto because that's going to be Crypto Kaleo's job today. So I'm going to throw it back to you in the studio.
Fantastic weather report, Sig. Great to hear your voice. Had a little bit of a video delay delay, ladies and gentlemen. So Sig is only available for audio today, but we're hoping that, if she has anything that she wants to contribute, she'll raise her hand and we will hear from her on the Twitter show. Anyway, some updates from the Nifty Daily Digest, the daily newsletter published at thenifty.com. The nifty.com is your platform for free NFTs and all things BoDoggo's ecosystem. The PAX drop went live yesterday. I gave a brief description of it at the beginning of today's show. If you don't understand it, wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you don't have context, but it's not going anywhere. You're going to hear more and more about it. So just keep following the show. Either way, you'll hear about it, I'm sure. Anyway, prominent contemporary artist Yu Min Jun, and former sponsor of the show, by the way, Live Art, sold out the Kingdom of the Laughing Man collection on the Live Art platform. 999 NFTs selling out at varying prices between 0.3 and 0.39 Ethereum each. Last I checked, this was up over a 1.5x, closer to a 2x. Okay, it's at 0.54 right now. This is an artist that's had $150 million of volume in the traditional art world. Felt like a no-brainer to me. It actually hit public sale yesterday morning, so anybody was able to just go and buy one. Nice little W in the NFT market. Can't say I'm surprised at all, since this is an incredibly prominent artist from the traditional art world doing his first NFT drop, and only did a supply of 999 of them. Like I said, felt like a no-brainer to me, so very cool to see this drop, and very cool to have one of our sponsors have an immediate W after the sponsorship. Second story, crypto casino Rollbit announced a new buy and burn feature for their RLB token, allocating 10% of casino, 20% of sportsbook, and 30% of 1000x futures revenue will be used to buy and burn Rollbit on a daily basis, Rollbit being the token. We'll have to see how this plays out. Looks like the token's at 15 cents after a 50%, piss missile candle run up that came through, I believe it was yesterday. Last story, Oniforce teased a partnership with OD Labs, a Web3 based company that specializes in creating augmented reality fashion, with further details expected to be revealed shortly. Clemente, what is Oniforce's floor price at right now? I'd be curious. We saw them acquired. Clemente?
It's at 0.85 last time I checked.
Ouch. Well, we'll have to see if it's able to rebound. It got up as high as, I believe, 1.7, maybe close to 2 ETH post-acquisition. But I think a lot of people are wondering what is going to sustain the price. Nick?
I think I sold mine in a blaze of
glory.
I was gonna say glory, but kind of fury. It was I wasn't happy about it, like I'd bought this Oni. Somehow the other one, the frame, the one that you get to claim for having it, is still in my wallet. I thought that doesn't, I have no idea. Anyways, it doesn't make any sense. There's some weird issues going on there, but shout out to whoever bought it from me and doesn't have the frame. It's in my wallet. Why is Clemente laughing so much about this?
Just like, your commentary is pretty funny on this one.
Well, I just remember you buying it. It was like peak euphoria, and then the price went down after.
I bought the top, so that was the top signal. I've had some gains, okay? It's not like I only lose. Like
Nick does not only lose.
I just mostly lose.
Oh, okay.
But the gains make up for it, okay?
That's the NFT way. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we got Crypto Kaleo. He was early. He's here. Kaleo, how's it going, buddy?
It's going well, man. It's good to be back.
Hell yeah. So you are the founder of Wonky Stonks. You are a crypto Twitter staple, and you are a technical analysis expert. And Bitcoin cost $30,000 today. You've been tweeting about it left and right. What do you think, Kaleo? Are we about to just rip to 40K, or are we going to continue to be trading sideways and chopping for the rest of 2023 here?
I don't know, man. Personally, I still think Bitcoin is going to slowly grind up through the next happening. There's going to be a lot of volatility in there with that, right? Like Nick said, or actually, no, it wasn't Nick that said it. I think it was you that said it. I really just think it's one of those things where you got to be patient for the next year, right? We may not rip directly to 40K, but in the next year or two, there are going to be some type of new all-time highs, late 2024, early 2025. That's still what I'm sticking with.
I love it. So look, on a different podcast that I host yesterday, the Bitcoin show, we had a macro expert, this guy, Joe Consorti, and it was a pretty juicy conversation. He thinks that we have a recession incoming. And when we talked about Bitcoin, he thinks that Bitcoin is more leading than, say, the S&P 500. He thinks that the stock market is a bit euphoric right now. Everybody seems to be buying. Obviously, the Magnificent Seven stocks are up big this year. He's expecting a dump because he thinks the Fed and Jerome Powell specifically, worried about his legacy, is trying to basically just continue this high interest rate environment. Nick, go ahead.
Well, real quick, are you holding physical show notes? Is the first question that I was wondering.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's a new thing.
You
No, it's not.
You print out the call sheet?
No, I have physical show notes often. You just maybe I never hold them up like this. And
Well,
also, by the way, only Nick is comfortable. Just like I'm in the middle of a setup for a question.
The comment I was going to say is I agree, because the yield curve is inverted right now, which is typically an indicator of an incoming recession. But sorry, you can continue with the question. I was just saying that I think that this is spot on. I love that you got a physical call sheet, though. I didn't mean to I didn't mean to interrupt on that. Dude, it's got actual handwritten notes. That's Clemente's job to give you that sort of thing. And we got to figure out why you're actually handwriting this.
Well, I'm handwriting it because the Bitcoin show is one of the hardest things that I do. And the people that go on that show are animals. And I have to just do my best to, and the audience of that show, the Bitcoin people, are assholes. And so I have to figure out how to like sound like I really know what I'm talking about, no matter who the guest is, no matter if it's a macro expert, a Bitcoin expert, somebody that's building a software product on Bitcoin, no matter what, I have to be an expert. So it's very hard. And so anyway, basically, Kaleo, like there's different schools of thought right now. There's people that believe that the Bitcoin halving is an inevitable price pump. There's also people that think that, I don't know, that we're going to start to actually cut rates versus continue to stay in a high interest rate environment. The gentleman, Joe Consorti, feels that Powell does not want to go back to 0% or anywhere near 0%. He feels that his legacy is on the line and that he's trying to kick the habit of these high highs and low lows, this extreme action that the Fed has been creating, and that it's only been getting more extreme. And that, you know, the actions of the past 3 years post 2020 are still being felt. And that even though we're in a high interest rate environment, everyone still has a lot of cash. So do you think that this is the first time that we see the halving have almost like less of an impact on Bitcoin's pricing than we've seen it in the past? Having said that, the last cycle top, 69K, was significantly, it was a less extreme blow off top than the previous two. So I don't know. How do you think all these things play in together?
Well, first and foremost, P.O., I want to give you a shout out for the show notes. I think it's pretty cool. Definitely well prepared. Comes off very well, very clean. So shout out to the show notes.
This shit is hard, Kaleo. This shit is hard.
No, it is. It is. Like, it's impressive. People don't realize, as I'm watching you go through and read all of that, like, one, it's incredibly efficient. Probably second only to Signal. But then past that, like, it's a lot of work to get all that prepared. So shout out to that.
Thank you, buddy.
Secondly, though, you know, on the topic of the halving, yeah, you know, like one of the natural things about it, each cycle that happens is obviously it halves, right? Like, it's intuitive. So the amount of Bitcoin, the reason why a lot of people say that the halving is fundamentally bullish is because the new supply of Bitcoin that's, you know, coming on to the market comes from the miners, from these block rewards, and it gets cut in half every 4 years, right? So as long as demand continues to increase and the amount of supply being introduced to the market continues to decrease, you know, it should have some type of price boom effect. So, you know, naturally, each cycle, as the number of Bitcoin that is being introduced lessens, you know, like, I think the effect of it lessens as well. I still think that we're at the point where it is going to have a fundamental bullish effect on the market, but it's not one of those things where it happens immediately, right? You know, and we've seen that from previous cycles where some of the time it takes a little bit of time past the halving to actually really, really gain momentum and start to get that acceleration effect running into the next bull market. So I don't think that it's necessarily going to happen immediately, but I do still think that it is significant enough that it is going to be a major catalyst for the next bull run.
I mean, I love it. I'd love to know what Nick thinks about, price action, maybe in the stock market, because you cover Tesla, I think, the most. I'm obviously a Tesla bull. I think you were saying between $240 and $260 is the ape zone for Tesla. We've seen Tesla break above 300 this year. It has some gnarly volatility. I mean, it sold off hard last year. Nick, do you have any thoughts or anything you'd like to discuss with Kaleo stock market related?
Not really. In terms of where we're at, like you said that I cover Tesla. I think you mean Kaleo covers
Kaleo covers
Tesla.
Yeah, you don't.
Yeah,
cover
I don't pay attention to Tesla all that much. I know that you do because you own it and you like investing your entire investment portfolio in the world's most volatile assets possible, which is what I think a lot of investors suggest. I will say, though, you are so young that you can't afford to invest in sort of higher risk bets. I mean, I don't have a question associated with this. It's more, and I mean, I think he said the main thing I was looking for is it sounds like a slow grind to 40K. If we have a recession, though, I just feel like, my question then is like, doesn't the market usually correlate in some way to that activity? We've already seen a rebound in the market to an extreme degree. Like the S&P has almost recovered everything that it's given up. And so back in like October, we were down significantly more. Like, do you really think that like to call an upward call here with the potential with the yield curve inverted and everything else, doesn't that feel like what's the motivating factor behind that? Is it really just simply the halvening?
I mean, Nick, so a few things about that. One, people are always calling for a recession and some type of market correction whenever you're in an upward trend in the market, right? Like there's always going to be a voice that says that. And they become more prominent every time that the price starts to dip a little bit, right? Like it is natural human, it's part of our emotional state to be able to follow whatever the trend of the price is and to believe more what's happening as the price starts to trend that direction. And, every single cycle, we hear different narratives that follow that price action as well, right? Like we've heard the narrative that, man, like I remember back when I first got into it in 2017, I did believe that if the stock market crashed, Bitcoin was going to be this hedge. Everybody was going to flee to it. And didn't end up being the case at the very beginning of 2020. Like, it was one of those things where it kind of proved me wrong there. And we never really decoupled the way that I wanted it to. So I do think that if we do reach that, if we are in a bona fide recession, that it might have some type of an impact. But at the same time, I still think that the halvening, like, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm too sold on the bullish catalyst of it, and I'm too sold on just the cyclical nature that crypto has had the past several years. Because eventually, not several years, but really since its inception.
Yep.
But everything eventually has an end. So I personally still don't buy into the fact that we are going to enter, some major crash in the stock market again. I still think that we're going to continue to creep to new highs. So, I think Bitcoin continues to follow with it.
And do you think that the ETF, so we saw BlackRock file for an ETF. There's some news coming out that we might get a result on Grayscale, for ETF related, issues and things like that. I'm wondering, is institutional capital in the form of an ETF, do you think that could be the thing that kind of ends the cyclical nature and just kind of makes it operate in a different way. Because like you said, I think a lot of people don't quite understand this. I don't know if they've never looked at a chart of Bitcoin and other crypto assets, but like you said, there has been a pattern that has played out at least 3 times, more or less to a T. Obviously, there's some variation. It's not exactly the same. And the last one, for example, was different than previous ones with the mid-cycle, call it a little bear market there for a few months before like the double top all-time high. But it's like, it's been the same thing 3 times. And obviously, it's not that it's going to keep happening forever, and it will come to an end, or at least I believe it will, like you said. But do you think the maturation of Bitcoin coincides with, BlackRock's ETF and other ETFs from legacy financial institutions, institutional capital?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a bullish catalyst, right? Whenever you're talking about adding different things that legitimize the space, that's definitely one of them. And, it obviously introduces a whole new inflow of capital injection into the space as a whole. And I think there's a trickle-down effect from that. That's one of the most important things to pay attention to, right? Like so many people, especially in the NFT space too, whenever you hear talks about Bitcoin, at least prior to ordinals, ordinals kind of changed the game a little bit as far as the conversation around Bitcoin, but ordinals in and of themselves are another bullish catalyst.
Yeah.
Gonna just add that in there real quick.
Yeah.
But yeah, anytime you get major capital injection at the top of a market, there's going to be a trickle-down effect.
Yeah, and I mean, look, there's a lot of factors at play here. Like right now, the market for commercial real estate is just trash. There's headlines that we see left and right here. A headline that we discussed on the other podcast yesterday was property loans are so unappealing that banks want to dump them. I mean, I live in New York City, and the difference pre-2020 versus post-2020 in terms of like in-office work, people going in office to work, also, like co-working spaces like WeWorks and stuff. Me and Nick have had meetings with like NFT companies that work out of WeWork type environments, and you go in and nobody's in there. On a Tuesday at 11 a.m., nobody's in there. Wednesday at 1 p.m., nobody's in there, right? And everybody seems focused on remote work, and yet there's companies like the last company I worked for, Robinhood, during COVID was building a Seattle office, right? And when I talk to people that work there now, they're like, yeah, I'm not really sure why that office got built. Do you pay attention to other markets like real estate? Do you pay attention to consumer credit? What other factors go in, or is it purely based on charts?
Yeah, I listen to a little bit of everything, man. But just quickly on that topic, I really wish I could have heard a Nick rant on the Zoom employees having, being forced to go back into the office, which I saw an article headline about that yesterday. And I don't know why. I just pictured it as one of those things that was grinding Nick's gears that he'd have an amazing commentary on.
Because it's just so ironic. You work at Zoom and they're like, get your ass in the office.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like the company that's supposed to be the poster child of work from home is now the one that is saying, actually, nah, this doesn't work. We want you guys back in the office.
It's pretty funny. Nick, do you have an opinion on that?
Not really. I mean, I appreciate that there was a rant. I do see the irony. Zoom, I wonder how their stock is operating now. I honestly think Zoom is way less appealing separately as a just as a stock. Primarily, we use like Google Meet, for example. I was always super bullish on Zoom, and I actually prefer Zoom in terms of its functionality. People hate transitioning to it, and it's like a ton of friction for a lot of people. And I don't understand that aspect of things. But damn, there's no way they're getting back to their all-time highs, especially with that sort of behavior. $560 was their their peak. They're at $67 right now. I was looking at some random stock that I had. There were a couple times that I bought random stocks during the COVID pump, basically like the stock market boom that we had right after the drop. And it was down 90%. I don't even know what the stock was, but it was kind of painful looking at that. And somehow it was still in my portfolio. And I had just gotten wrecked and had not noticed and lost a bunch of money. There were a bunch of stocks that went through that sort of similar cycle.
It's basically a meme stock.
I mean, or a crypto coin.
That's the funny thing, right? So many people, it's so easy to pick on crypto as far as because at the very bottom of it, and actually shoot through the higher levels too, you've got a lot of major capitulation that's happened from the peak. But you look at the freaking stock market, and a bunch of these super hype names from the COVID cycle are still down 90+%.
Yeah.
So, it's not isolated to crypto as far as everything having this major risk associated with it.
Yeah, it's gnarly. And I mean, speaking of meme assets, you've tweeted a little bit about Pepe. You've tweeted about Doge in the past. Easy just got back from an event in Nashville, Solana event, where he interviewed some people on the street, and the crypto that they knew, the number one crypto they knew was Doge, not Bitcoin, not Ethereum, but Doge. And then we've got friends of the show and very sharp traders, well-known market maneuverers, if I can call them that. OSF and Mando, part of the Rug Radio squad, they're tweeting about Pepe left and right, and they're very interested in Pepe. What's your perspective on Pepe and Doge? Is this are those two assets that you're accumulating? Like, what do you think of those two?
Well, that's actually a great segue to another point that I wanted to make earlier, was that, even if the effect of the halving on Bitcoin doesn't just skyrocket it the same way that it has in past cycles, right? Like, there's still, and I think that we're seeing that right now, there's still always opportunities somewhere in the corners of these markets, right? And I think right now, the meme coins are still to play. It's one of those type of things where, ride momentum until it's not there anymore. And I think that Pepe obviously had its major run earlier in the cycle, or earlier this year, back in April, May. Doge hasn't really done nearly as much since the whole 2021 Elon pump. But I really think that it is primed for another move. And I think that we're seeing that on the bleeding edges of the market, where you're seeing all this, the on-chain revolution that's happening right now, right? And like, with that on-chain revolution, you're getting a bunch of these new meme coins that are popping up that are absolutely printing just because of how ridiculous they are. Like, there's a Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu. I remember some kid asked me, and I thought this was a complete joke. Kaleo, what are your thoughts on Harry Potter Obama Sonic 10 Inu? And I said, 100x long it with everything, mortgage your house, do whatever, mortgage your house, do whatever you have to buy more. This was back in mid-May, only because I thought it was a fake coin. I was like, what is the most ridiculous name somebody could think of? This is not real.
That's absolutely hilarious. Well,
Damn, you sounded like really emotional, like you missed it.
Yeah, it's like, why didn't I listen to, because I thought this was completely ridiculous. Yeah, I'm gonna say 100x long it because it doesn't exist. Right? In my mind, I didn't know that it existed. That's how ridiculous I thought it was. And somehow the ridiculousness, like how ridiculous it was, I think was the propellant to get to where we are right now.
Well,
and I think that it took me a while to accept that.
So are you now aping the next shitcoin? Like, is that how you're operating at this point in time?
I mean, dude, I think you ride momentum right now. Like, maybe this is a little bit too mid-curve, but I am hugely long on Doge. I really do think that Doge does end up. I don't think that it is an accident that Elon, whenever he made this major rebrand to X, the most significant rebrand of his career with a company, and he included Doge, the Doge logo, in his profile description when he did that. So I don't think that that's an accident. And I really think that there is going to be some type of follow through with that. And I think that, like the combination of the potential fundamental catalyst with, some technical breakouts that are starting to creep their way onto the chart, I think it's primed for a big move sometime soon.
Well, I've been buying it because of the sort of normie component. They, normies, if I can call them that, people that aren't crypto native, that kind of buy into crypto during hype cycles, come in, near the top. They seem particularly interested in buying Doge. I don't know why. Probably because of the price tag. It's only like 7 cents. That's very popular, and it's available on major crypto exchanges, including Robinhood. I think it's on Robinhood. Yeah, it's on Robinhood. I'm gonna go to General Pudge in just a second. He's He's been on the show before. He asks good questions. I think he has a question for Kaleo. But real quick, I just want to remind everyone that today's show is sponsored by Bicycle Playing Cards and their brand new Bored Ape Yacht Club community playing card deck that just dropped yesterday. So at the end of the day, this is a legendary brand, right? They've been around for a very, very long time. If you have a pack of playing cards in your house, there's a very high probability that they are Bicycle playing cards. And this brand ventured into NFTs in 2022 when they bought a Bored Ape and they launched a casting call project called the 1227 casting call, because they bought Bored Ape 1227, and they recruited 54 Bored Ape holders to partner with them on a community playing cards deck idea. So in line with the licensing, the IP of your NFT. And so after working with their teams to create a whole new crew of apes got involved over the past few months, and now we have this new collaborative creation that you can actually buy right now. It's a one-of-one playing card deck featuring actual Bored Apes from the community at bicyclecards.com/silverbanana. So you can buy now while supplies last, of course. And we're actually giving away 3 decks during the show. So check out the pinned tweet at the top. Clemente's got it pinned up there, and you can see how you can win. And we're going to announce the winners at the end of the show. So check out this collab between Bored Ape, individual Bored Ape holders and the legendary, long-standing Bicycle playing card brand. Second time we've had them as a partner on the show, so very, very excited. General Pudge, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys doing this morning?
Fantastic. Thanks for coming up, buddy. What's going on?
Yeah, of course. It's kind of off topic. Kaleo, I love you, by the way. But anyway, you remember ND4.ETH who burned 2,500 ETH? He's burning NFTs now. He just burned an ape.
Okay, so we got someone burning NFTs.
Call the fire department because there's a fire.
Dude, he burned millions of dollars of ETH like a week ago, and now he just sent his Bored Ape, his kennel dog, and his mutant to a burn address, and registered some like really dark ENSs. He registered like "It's all over," "My life's a lie," "There's no future."
What the fuck?
Dude, it's dark. It's really dark.
I mean, look, when people do stuff like this, I think it's to capture the attention of the entire space, because it's basically a surefire way to do it. The surefire ways to get people in the NFT and crypto space to notice you are to do wild things like this that involve taking a bunch of high-priced assets and destroying them, or just deploying ridiculous amounts of capital. Like when you think about, for example, Franklin was and is one of the best known figures in the space. And for the majority of the beginning of his like rise to prominence, it was just because he owned a bunch of Bored Apes and was continuing to buy them and was just throwing money around. It wasn't, that he had like a killer stand-up routine that was making everybody laugh, or that he was like a brilliant film director. It was that he was just buying stuff, right? So in the NFT space and the crypto space, this makes people interested, like, size and deploying a lot of capital, doing wild things that involve high value assets. So anyway, Kaleo, what are you charting right now? What's an interesting asset? We've talked about Doge. We talked about Bitcoin. Or Nick doesn't like that question. Nick, what's your question?
No. I'm fine with the question. I'm actually curious. How do I find, but to put a bow on that conversation, who's the guy?
ND4.ETH.
.ETH.
Does anybody actually know who that is?
No.
Does he have a Twitter presence? Does he have anything like that? Or did he just kind of pop up out of nowhere?
So they've had this balance for a while. Like, it's not like a brand new wallet where it was all transferred in from, or like recently bought. It seems like this person's been around the space for a while. I haven't found a Twitter for them. In GeneralPudgy, I'm not sure if you've seen one, but I've been kind of following this loosely because it's just like a very wild situation.
There's 2 accounts when I search it. The first one seems like potentially a scam. I don't know. It's trying to get you to send money to an ETH.
Yeah,
Shocker.
Definitely a scam.
Why is that the first thing that shows up when I so is it ND4 coin ETH is the Twitter account?
No, there's an ND4 coin that launched shortly after this, of course.
So how do you find this person? Or they don't have a Twitter?
I don't believe they have a Twitter. Not one that I've found.
Okay, so I'm out here on Twitter looking to follow this person, and it's all scam accounts, basically.
Shocking.
Literally no surprise. That's how it works.
All right, well, at least we've clarified that and saved somebody the hassle of losing a bunch of money. So some random person that is unidentified that doesn't have a Twitter account is burning money and probably or sounds potentially suicidal. Now back to the conversation. What the questions for Kaleo. I just wanted to understand who this person is.
Well, yeah. So, Kaleo, what's a juicy chart right now? Maybe an asset that we haven't talked about, whether it'll go up or down. I'm curious to see what you're looking at.
Shoot, man. I mean, I'm still, this sounds really narrow-sighted. I'm still really looking at kind of what we talked about already, right? Like Doge is one of them. Pepe is another that I think will run. I guess Unibot isn't necessarily a meme coin, but if you're talking about like a little bit smaller, but still, it's a bunch of the coins that have already had some type of momentum, some type of catalyst this year that I still see running. Rollbit's interesting. I'm not sure what to do with Rollbit from here. I think
I'm long on Rollbit, Kaleo.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think it's one of those where it's tough to fade momentum right now, especially with a lot of major exchanges still failing to actually list it. I think that, it's going to get to that point where it'll probably grow until more major exchanges that aren't Rollbit end up listing it.
But I think the buyback and burn is the most interesting part for it. Because like right now is probably the lowest time for like sports gambling in general. Fall tends to be the fastest growing space. So they just launched their dashboard. And just for clarity, I do hold a bag of Rollbit on Solana. But the big thing is like with sports gambling, you have a big ramp in the fall with NFL, college football, and NBA all coming back between September and December. And that alone should see some higher volumes across the board as people continue to gamble. Like it's traditionally, from a gambling standpoint, the highest time period for it. And the buyback and burn is based on those metrics from their 1000x leverage platform, from their casino gains, and from their sports gambling. And they use all three of those to buy back and burn. So like inherently, you're just going to have less Rollbit supply. And then to your point, no major exchanges listed it.
Easy. You can buy it on Solana too.
So Rollbit launched on Solana. They just recently bridged to ETH. Rollbit was an SPL token because of the gas. And then they just recently bridged to ETH because of the liquidity side of things, but it hasn't been the full balance. So you actually have to like wormhole it over. So, I mean, if I can buy a token on Sol that's the same price on ETH, I'm going to buy it on Sol because I can get in and out for a fraction of a penny versus $5 to $10.
Yeah, interesting. So, Kaleo, are you taking a closer look at Rollbit?
Yeah, I've watched Rollbit for a while, and I think it's one of those where when you're trending in the bear market, like you go with what's trending versus what's not. There are a lot of people, I think, that are still out there trying to trade price action from charts from these L1s that are kind of washed up from last year. And not to say that they don't have a chance of having a resurgence this next cycle. Just, there's nothing really that sticks out to me that says, hey, this is going to be an immediate bullish catalyst versus just riding the momentum, right? Like, I've seen so many times in crypto where you say, hey, this thing's already up so much, there's no way it can go up anymore. Well, I mean, you look at Rollbit, it's only I don't know, I'd have to look at it. I think a $250 million market cap, easy probably knows.
It's right around there,
whatever it is.
No, it's actually higher than that. It's almost 500 million. Oh, no,
okay,
it's not.
Well,
It's 250. That's Pepe. That's Pepe. It's
500 million.
Sorry, this is the Pepe chart on the screen. I think you're right at 250.
So yeah, somewhere around there. I mean, when I look at it just from a market cap perspective, I still see a lot of room for growth.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what the timeline is associated with that. Like how long.
I'm all in. I'm actually pissed off because I have been watching Rollbit for a bit. It just seemed like an interesting token to participate in. The fact that they're half the market cap of Pepe definitely
that makes it pretty interesting.
Yeah, so that makes it interesting to me.
I do think it has some unique risk factors though that are inherent to it versus other projects and other. Whenever you have this much volume being driven to basically an unlicensed casino, it's difficult to really say that there won't be any regulatory scrutiny toward it. So I wouldn't be surprised if one day you wake up and somehow the domain is seized and whatever. And I'm not saying that will happen, right? But I think it's one of those things where if you're looking at somehow, like that would be the only thing that I could think of near term would kill them. Outside of that, I don't really see anything else slowing them down anytime soon.
Yeah, we'll have to see how it plays out. I also have exposure to the Rollbit token. Yeah, definitely going to be interesting. So we got friend of the show. He's been on the show before. Oh, damn it. I accidentally just removed him from the space. All right. Well, I just accidentally banned this guy.
Got him.
Oh, that was an
Good
accident.
one.
Oh, my God. All right.
Friend of the show, we kick friends off. That's what we do on the NFT morning show.
Yeah, that was an accident. That was bad. He'll come back. Oh, here he is. So we got Calf Money on the show, been on the show before, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, a blue belt. Joe, what's going on, buddy? Oh, here he is. Calf Money, what's going on, amigo? You got a question for Kaleo? Maybe? Well, we got technical issues probably because Twitter Space is like, dude, you just blocked this guy like 1 minute ago. Calf Money, yo.
Hi guys. Big fan. I'm like switching back and forth between Spaces and YouTube. Sorry if you guys already asked this. I wanted to ask Kaleo. I'm a big fan of, by the way. Dude, can you please chart Pudgy Penguins again? It's so fun when you do that, when you chart NFTs, because, my bags are like super important. But also, I wanted to ask a secondary question if you have time to get to it. You are such a bullish guy. When you want to like check yourself or when you're curious about other perspectives, what accounts do you check out? What are the solid voices in the space from your perspective? Aside from people on
Dude, I feel like Trader SZ is the opposite of me. So I'll check his stuff a lot. I think Cold Blooded Shill has a good, kind of in between perspective, pretty neutral perspective. Trader Main also, I think, has a really good neutral perspective, very unbiased in my opinion. So I'll check a lot of guys like that I think either are on the other side of the spectrum or are right there in the neutral area, because I do think it's important to be able to check your bias every here and there and to be able to challenge and say, okay, is there something that, am I a little bit overeager here, a little bit euphoric?
Yeah, appreciate the shout outs to the other accounts to follow. I was following all of them. I don't know if I can find Cold Blooded Shill. That's the only person I'm at. Oh, here, Cold Blooded Shiller. He's got that's him. I got him. So it's at Cold Blood Shill. That was the one. The other ones are super easy to find. Kaleo, any perspective on the NFT market? Kind of feels like this has to be the bottom. D-Gods has a big announcement today. D-Gods Season 3. It's been the talk of the NFT market. Highest profile event to happen in NFTs, I would say, since Azuki and Meme Land. What do you make of where we're at in the NFT space? And, does it remind you of anything that you've seen in crypto in the past?
Well, first and foremost, Frank Ships, put that on a hoodie. I think they'll deliver with this, but the question is, as far as a price impact, it's so difficult to have such high expectations that even if you meet them, people are expecting you to absolutely exceed them to the next level. So as far as a price impact, I don't think that should be the metric of success for the gods and what ends up happening with this, though the market is going to take it as that. So from the NFT perspective, man, we've seen just projects slowly bleeding throughout this bear market. And it's painful. And there are a lot of people that are like, man, is it ever going to come back? I swear every other day I see a space that says the NFTs are dead, and they're never coming back. And I completely disagree with that. I definitely think NFTs are still going to be one of the most bullish sectors out of anything in crypto, the next bull market. And I think right now is an amazing time to still plug yourself into the space, whether it's doing things like making connections with you guys or accumulating a project that you may say that you have some level of high conviction in for whatever reason that it may be. But, I don't necessarily think that it is from a price perspective some signal that we are for sure at a bottom across all these projects. But yeah, from a time perspective, I think that we're right there in the trough of the bottom, right? Like, I think that this is there's so much pain and just capitulation across the board. But yeah, I don't see how the market doesn't turn around sometime soon. And it'll be a slow process, but I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, like you said, we're in the trough of the bottom. I'm not saying like today's the bottom and tomorrow it's going to go up, but I just figure like this is what bottoming has to feel like. And also from a timeline perspective, if you look at the crypto cycles,
feel, Pio? Like, walk me through that. What is that experience like? We're all curious.
Hey, I'll say this. So the last cycle, as far as alts were concerned, I'm not sure if you guys were around 2018, 2019. Man, there was a period where everybody on the timeline, I kid you not, during the bear market, every single person became a Bitcoin maxi. Everybody hated alts. And everybody said alts were dead and they were never coming back, right? And what ended up happening? We had the greatest alt season ever, right? Like, we had pumps that were unseen, and we're still seeing that right now, today, right? So, like, I think that's where NFTs are. NFTs are at the point where everybody says they are dead. They're never coming back. They were a failed experiment. And I think that's just dead wrong.
Yep. That's about right. It's just going to take some time for that to, come to light. But yeah, I mean, like saying alts are completely dead and never coming back, tell that to Dogecoin and, many other alts. Obviously, the alt season you're talking about featured some killer W's like Solana and others. So look, ladies and gentlemen, real quick, I want to shout out one last time today's sponsor, Bicycle Playing Cards. They've debuted their brand new Bored Ape Yacht Club playing card decks that are available for pre-sale right now.
I just bought one.
That's what I'm talking about. Nick buying the physical collectibles. That's what I'm talking about. They collaborated with artist AV Tones to not only create the new deck, but also to create a limited edition 3-pack display case with customizable foil printing. I like that, leaning into collectibles. An original uncut sheet of all 56 cards signed and numbered by the artist and shipped straight from the factory in Kentucky. Love that too. That sounds like a very cool wall-mountable, frameable collectible, and apparel featuring original designs on hoodies, hats, and t-shirts. I love the leaning in to physical collectibles, but obviously what else would Bicycle do considering they are one of the oldest standing, brands in this kind of playing cards collectibles world. So check out the full collection on bicyclecards.com/silverbanana. Also, we have 3 winners for you. So the 3 winners, get ready. Drum roll, please. We got Antoine Algin. We got Greeny_ETH. And we've got Solana Swiss. Those are the 3 winners. Antoine Algin, Greeny_ETH, Solana Swiss. Clemente, what do the winners have to do?
We will reach out to them. Just stay tuned from a DM from the Nifty. We're going to reach out and we'll probably need some of your information so we can ship those cards over to you. But congratulations.
All righty. There we go. Clemente is going to reach out from the Nifty account. We got GeneralPudgy with his hand raised again. GeneralPudgy, question for Kaleo?
Yeah. And if when we get, the full bull market back and, obviously considering NFTs get a bull run again, do you think we get a bigger bull run than 21, 22?
I think, and this is maybe an unpopular opinion, maybe it is popular, I think we do. So, yeah, it's my take. By the way, Pio, I meant to say this earlier, I meant to DM you. If you want to give away a wonky stock to somebody too, whether it's here or like on the newsletter or whatever else, happy to give one, give a couple even for the cause if you'd like to.
Well, first of all, hell yeah, let's give away some wonky stonks. And we can actually probably even do that during the show today. I don't know if Nick has any opinions on what medium would make sense to do that, but real quick, I want to answer GeneralPudgy's question.
Aren't we doing a different giveaway right now though? Like with the bicycle, aren't we giving away 3 packs or something?
Are you joking?
Well, how are we doing it?
I just drop the
just said
names
the
of the
winners,
3
Nick.
winners
Oh,
and then the
sorry.
instructions.
I missed the winner. Sorry, my apologies.
That was a joke, right? Like,
Yeah, it was a joke.
so you just been out for the past 5 minutes of the show.
For 5 minutes because I went to go deploy some code to the site to fix an issue for people. So I completely missed it. My apologies.
Take yourself off camera when you're going to do that. It's just easier. Anyway, if you have an opinion on how to give away something else, since we've already given away the first thing, which are wonky stonk NFTs from Kaleo, which I'm sure the audience would love. Think about it for a second. I'm going to answer a question from GeneralPudgy. Just think about what medium newsletter. If we want to just do the YouTube show right now, like pick random comments from the YouTube show. If you want to do something else on Twitter, just think about it for a second. And then I'm going to throw to Calf in a second. But real quick, GeneralPudgy and Kaleo, I don't know if you want to chime in on this too. From my perspective, I do think it's possible for the next a new NFT bull run to have higher overall US dollar volume across the entire market. Actually, I think it's a completely inevitable foregone conclusion that there's eventually going to be more liquidity, more overall US dollar volume in the NFT market than we saw in the previous bull run. However, you have to keep in mind, in the previous bull run, there were literally like 7 or 8 total things that you could buy. You could buy a Bored Ape, you could buy a Gutter Cat, you could buy a Azuki, you could buy a Doodle, you could buy a Moonbird. Literally, it was like 9 different things. So you're talking about a ton of liquidity and hype pouring into 9 different things. And CryptoPunks, that's how you get the price up to 480K for one Bored Ape when there's 10,000 Bored Apes. I'm not saying that happens again, because the concentration of liquidity is inevitably going to spread because there's just going to be more stuff. Kaleo, is that an out to lunch take, or do you understand where I'm coming from when I think about it like that?
Oh, like it is a no-brainer take. It is definitely going to happen. There's no way around it. At least from the NFT side of things with this market. I mean, I think that last bull market from the NFT bull market, it'll be a blip on the radar, man. We're going to have multiple billion-dollar plus projects that exist, at least billion-dollar ecosystems. I see that happening easily. So yeah, I don't know if there are necessarily ecosystems that exist already that are going to continue to grow into that, or if they'll be new, but I definitely see multiple happening.
I mean, I love it, and that's the way I'm thinking about it too. Calf Money, you have another question for Kaleo?
Yes, sir, I do, if you don't mind. So Kaleo, what do you think about Solana, DeFi, and base chain shit coins? Is it time yet? Do we go in? Do we wait? What do you think, man?
Man, I think there's always opportunity in hidden corners of the market. So, if you found an edge there, chase after it. But yeah, outside of that, like it's, you just have to look for what's trending. And again, if it's something on base chain, if you found a way to be able to spot meme coins on there that are taking off, go for it. But I usually stick to the most liquid areas, which that's why I'm a huge ETH fan. But yeah, I definitely think there's opportunity across the board there. And to your point earlier, yes, I forgot to address this. I will chart. I'll bring up some pudgy charts this week.
Can't wait to see those. Look, I made the decision on how, Kaleo, if you're cool with giving away 2 wonky stocks, which we would be very, very, appreciative of. If you're cool with doing 2 of them, I have a plan on how we can give away the 2 of them.
Let's do it.
Awesome. So we'll give away 1 to a BoDoggo's holder and 1 to a Nifty portal holder. So that'll be how we give away the 2 of them. We'll do it in the Discord. I'll let our Discord team handle that giveaway, and then I'll get back to you. And we really appreciate that. Wonky Stonks, very fun NFT project. It's been almost 2 years now, huh, Kaleo?
Yeah, man. Dropped it, and it was a free mint back in October of 2021, October 16th. So it's coming up on 2 years, which is crazy to think about.
It's wild. I remember the YouTube stream that we were on, and I believe it was just me and Nick very early on. We'd been streaming on YouTube maybe 2 or 3 months, and Nick knew I was unaware of you at that point because I wasn't really a crypto Twitter person. I was just a Bitcoin guy, and then I'd gotten into NFTs. And Nick was like, "Oh, this really good trader, Crypto Kaleo. This is his NFT collection." Then we saw that the first one was free, so it was like if you minted 3 wonky stonks, the first one was free. And so we bought like a bunch of them, including, we got the free ones, but then we realized a lot of people were just claiming the free one and then selling it for next to nothing. So I got really scared and I was worried that I just lit money on fire, but obviously there was like an unholy pump after that. So it all worked out.
Yeah, okay. So the average sale price, I think, of a stonk after whatever, you could purchase the secondary, I think was 0.07 if you bought anything more than one, right? You could claim as many wallets as you wanted the first one for free, but the average sales price was 0.011 ETH. And even after that, I mean, hey, the floor is still nearly 2 years later, is still above the highest mint price that you could potentially mint at. So, somehow, despite not having, raised millions and millions of dollars like a bunch of other projects that I know of from that era that have ended up collapsing, we're still around. No roadmap, no anything else. It's just about the charts, the art, fully generative. And yeah, man, it's been a fun ride. But even from that perspective, anybody that says doing anything with an NFT project, leading it is easy, is absolutely insane. It definitely tests you mentally. And, it's one of those things where really investing in your community is incredibly important. So, I know you guys are very well familiar with that, with both being, having the portal and the BoDoggos collection.
Yeah, man, it's mentally tested. It mentally tests you. I can assure you of that. As recently as all the time, past 24 hours. But wouldn't have it any other way. It's a jam, and really excited to continue to do good stuff and really accomplish something special. Look, we got a wrap here, Kaleo. Thank you so much for joining us. Any closing thoughts? Anything that you'd like to leave the audience with, whether it's related to a specific stock or crypto asset, how you feel about the market overall and where we're going? Anything you'd like to leave people with?
Let's see, man. Dogecoin, still incredibly bullish on Doge. I'll go through the list. Dogecoin, wonky stocks are inevitable. Just be patient, have conviction, and stack as far as Bitcoin and ETH goes. No reason to get shaken out. And yeah, same thing with the NFT market as a whole. Just be patient, man. Like, opportunity is coming.
Yeah, I mean, it almost feels like Bitcoin and ETH is like easy mode compared to some of these altcoins and NFT collections that people, end up aping into. I love your advice is sound. I hope people listen to it. Be patient, stack, and just have conviction, real conviction, right? Where you don't get shaken out when there's a 5% drawdown. But, excuse me. One last shout out to Bicycle Cards. Second time that we've partnered with them on the show. This is the iconic playing cards brand that you probably have in your house right now. And they did a collab with holders of Bored Apes. So check out bicyclecards.com/silverbanana to check it out. Shout out to the 3 winners of the giveaway there. We're going to run a separate giveaway for Portal holders and BoDoggo's holders for Kaleo's Wonky Stonks collection that he's so generous to do a little giveaway with us for Unexpected. So we really appreciate that. Looked like Nick wanted to get a word in.
Yeah, who were the winners, P.O., of those bicycle cards?
The winners were Antoine Algin, Greeny _ETH, and Solana Swiss.
There we go.
This is the second time that we've announced that on this show.
Just want to make sure that they know definitively that they were the winners. It's important that you say those things twice so people that may not have been listening because they were deploying code are able to hear what that is. Shout out to Antoine is one that appears
he does
familiar.
AI art.
And he's in our comments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He is. He also listens to the show. So he was well aware that he won because he listened to the show.
You don't know that he wasn't like chopping something for breakfast? Like you don't know that he wasn't chopping something?
Probably still listening though, right? Like I listen to podcasts while I cook.
To
And
Nick's
you
point,
listen, you're
actually,
100% focused on the matter while you're listening to the show. Every single podcast. Hey, Pio, let me tell you something. There's things that are more important in life sometimes than the one thing that you're focused. And the thing that's more important is the thing that's right in front of you. The thing that's like that you're focused on in that moment, you know?
Yeah,
And that's what's key, man.
definitely more important than literally broadcasting on a live podcast, a live show that's in front of an audience of thousands.
What were you going to say, Clemente? Were you about to back me up here?
No, he wasn't.
He was about to back me up. Let him do it.
Antoine actually was at work. He had to talk to his boss. Like, yo, did I win? So
And he did miss it. Wow. I wonder how that
He knew
played
that he
out.
won.
Wow.
He heard his name. He knew that he won.
He didn't the first time. Didn't the first time.
He was in the Discord asking about it. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. If it's your first time listening, we do the show Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern time on Twitter Spaces. If you want the video feed, go to YouTube. We hope that Kaleo will eventually dox on video on our show, but we're not holding our breath on it since he's been talking about it for about a year and a half. But big shout out to Kaleo. Thanks for joining the show today. Give him a follow. He's a big time Twitter chart person, crypto commenter, if you will. Shout out to Crypto Kaleo. Thanks so much for coming, buddy. And thanks for the unexpected giveaway of 2 wonky stonks.
Yeah, man, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks for having me. Need to get back and get on here more often. But yeah, y'all take it easy.
Absolutely, man. We're cleaning up our infrastructure for guests on the show. Me and Clemente are just cleaning that all up. And we're really excited. We got Raul Paul coming on the show on Friday from Real Vision. We're just cooking, ladies and gentlemen. Ray Chan is allegedly coming on the show soon. So just look out for him, man. Bigger and bigger guests. We're going to get some of these macro guys from the Bitcoin show on this show too, just to get some big brain energy cooking over here. We're hoping Nick will listen. We're hoping he'll pay attention during the show that he's a co-host of.
I missed one comment on the thing, okay? Maybe I missed one comment in the 4,000 shows that we've hosted in the past 2 years. You know?
Yeah, we're hoping that Nick, one of the absolute key talents of the show, pays attention during the show. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, look, it's Wednesday. You got 2 more shows with us, including one with Raul Paul this week. Shout out to everybody that won the giveaway from Bicycle Cards, today's sponsor. One last time, check out bicyclecards.com/silverbanana for this limited run Bored Ape Yacht Club collab with Bicycle Cards. This is the trading the card deck company, Bicycle Cards, that you probably have in your house right now. Iconic 100-plus-year-old brand. Anyway, we're going to be back tomorrow. The show's available on YouTube. Subscribe there.